Yo, 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 it's your boy Matrix back with another crazy episode of customer service where the customer is not always right. Today, my guest is my big cuz. Okay, now she has worked many different fields, she has wore a lot of different hats. And I reached out to her, I said, cuz you've been doing your thing, raising your children, your family, and with all the skills and talent that she have, I know she had to have a crazy, wild customer service story. So I'm going to allow my cousin to introduce herself and please share with us one of the craziest, wildest customers you've ever had. You got it.
Hi, I'm Cheryl Johnson. Most people call me go by Beauty Angels. A lot of my
You hear
business
me.
go under Beauty Angel. But yeah, it's a lot of the customer services is I seen some stuff. I haven't encountered that many, but it is crazy. Like I do pop-up shops. I sell stuff. I give stuff away. I sell like sunglasses and I don't really do too much of the t-shirts and clothing anymore because of the situation we're going with the terror and stuff like that. So I'm really not doing too much of the t-shirts and the clothes and the sunglasses and stuff like that no more. But I'm still doing my art and my nails, and that's about it. And then I'm doing a lot of traveling and getting into the traveling agency stuff too now. So I'm doing a lot.
I didn't even know that. Okay. I didn't even know. See that? Look at that.
But yeah, I was in New York networking with a lot of artists on
Hey, the big
Canal.
city.
Huh?
I said the big city. Okay, the big
Yeah,
apple.
the big city, the big apple. I'm always in New York, always in New York. And I was in actually this time I was actually wasn't planning on networking, but I went down there. I was down there, so I just started. You in business, you never off business or off work when you're doing
Absolutely.
stuff.
Absolutely. Business mode. Stay focused.
you, yep. So I'm just in down there, and I'm like, all right, let me do some networking, and I in a lot of boutiques and stuff, and they artists they have their artwork and stuff. High scale, a lot of them is a high scale boutique, and you have the vendors they outside, and the vendors they not selling like what people normally see like pocketbooks and stuff like that. They're artist vendors that's out there selling artwork and stuff like that, and there's a lot of black artwork, a lot. So I'm networking with them, and I'm talking and having a nice time. And if you I don't know, I'm from Philly. We from Philly.
Right.
when
Absolutely.
when you're on a corner, especially as me growing up, and my dad used to sell flowers and stuff, so you can't just pop up on somebody's corner and just start selling on their corner.
Not at all.
You
Not
gotta
at
have
all.
permission.
Not
And
on
then
this
even
block. Not in this hood.
no, not in this hood, you can't do that. And then even now, you gotta have a permit, you gotta have a license, and even now you gotta pay the pay even not just those, you gotta pay a commission
Mm.
also.
Okay. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
these
Everybody get
out,
these tracks.
yes, everybody. And I'm like, okay, so I'm talking to these people, and as I'm looking over, I could see these other people is coming up, but they're like looking like they about to set up. So I'm like, oh, I
Mhm.
wonder what they selling. And one of the guys said, I think they selling insurance, but I hope they're not about to set up out here. So I said,
Uh-oh.
okay. So as I'm looking at the artwork and they checking my artwork out, because I really wanted to set up out there, but not at that particular time. But I wanted to
Mhm.
network with them and do some business. And the guy, he's handing out pamphlets though. Now he handing out pamphlets. But I see a couple of other women that is with him got a table and some chairs and stuff. And the guy said, hold on for a second. One of the guys said, hold on for a second. And I said, okay. So we still talking. I'm talking to the other guy. So the guy, he moves on, but then he come as now the other guy come back and we talking. Here he come again. But mind you, there's other vendors out there, and it's this lady. She a much older lady. She had to be in her 60s or whatever, and she's selling jewelry, and this real nice art jewelry that she made herself. So she comes over and she says something to the older guy. Now I'm talking to the younger guy that's out there, and he's checking out my artwork and stuff that I'm showing him. And I'm giving him all of my information. And she's complaining that they're trying to set up next to her spot, but no, they already have that. They have it on lock already.
Right. This our block here.
This art
You ain't
block.
supposed to be here.
And now he's sitting there saying, first of all, you can't. Now they arguing about it to him. You can't just come over here and just set up on somebody's block. I don't care who gave you permission or what. Like, it's codes and regulations to this. I own this. And the guy like, you don't own this street. Like, they really get into it. Now I'm sitting there, the other guy, it got to the point where they push it, and now they tussling. And the other guy talking to me. Now I'm not by myself. I'm with with another cousin that I'm taking down there with me to do this. She looking at me from the side. She like, hold up, I think you need to get up and roll too before this get really out of hand. Like, they literally started out in a brawl, and I was like, okay, bye. I'll catch y'all at another time. I had went down the street because it was like on this block, it had to been maybe like 10 tables stretched all out, but the whole strip is full of artwork.
Right.
I moved on to the next to the
right
end, the very end of the block.
So these cats just came and set up an insurance table.
Yeah, I was like, I'm not about to get into I am not about they went.
No, who you talking to? Listen, man, I'm out here selling this insurance. Man, you better back up off me. 2-5.
And he wasn't even from there. This dude was from Chicago. He was from Chicago coming all the way out here
to New York.
It's trying to sell stuff on somebody else's turf. Like, you just don't do that. And that man, he was like, he was talking gangster. He was like, I will kill and cut.
I was about to ask, was both of these guys black?
What the ones that I was networking, they was African. They was African. And the other one, he was black, but you could tell he was mixed with something. He was mixed. He was a mix. And but he was with some white women though. He was with some white women.
See, I'm trying to figure, like, if you're from the hood, you know the rules. You don't just set up on anybody's block. So you couldn't have been from the hood.
Set up on nobody else's point. You can't do that anywhere. Anywhere you go, you can't do that. Like, I learned that at a young age. Like I said, from my dad selling his flowers and selling it down on board in Spring Garden. And he had a spot down there. That was his regular spot, either on board in Spring Garden or in front of Temple. Like, you just don't. And if somebody went in his spot, somebody else was saying something to them. Like, this is my man's spot. You got to roll up on out of here.
I remember one summer, me, him, and Jay and Muhammad was at we was out 52nd Street. I can't remember 52nd or something.
That was one of his spots on 52nd Street too.
Yeah. What you doing? What you doing here? You don't do this move. Listen, homie. Move, or we gonna move you. How you want to do this? You know what I mean? Let's go. Yeah.
You got to move. You can't just roll up on, especially you're out of towner. You got the network, and I knew that. That's why I was sitting there talking to everybody on the strip, is because you just don't go out there and start setting up in somebody else's territory. No. Right.
You ain't
That's
talk to
just
nobody.
true.
You don't know who need to get paid, who need to get broke off. You don't know who you disrespecting. You just gonna walk up.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
just can't do that.
I
And
see
I
how that
was
turned
like,
into.
that was very, very interesting. I wanted to sit there and actually
Yeah,
watch the fight, but my cousin, she was like, "We out."
give me some popcorn. Give me a Pepsi.
That's how, I was like, "Dang!" I was like, "I want to see how this turned out."
Yeah, it
But
sounded like it
another,
was gonna be good.
it was, and another. I was donating. I had a lot of clothes donated to me to give away to the church, and I had some. I had some diapers. I had bed pads. I had I had a bunch of clothes, just men and women clothing, that and
Okay.
shoes and coats. And I had a fur coat. I had a fur coat in the
A
midst. I
zip
had a
code.
couple of coats, but I had one fur coat that was in the midst of this. And I had some of my products, like my jewelry that I was selling. I was like trying to get rid of some inventory, and I was
Yeah,
giving it away at the church because I was going to write it off
smart.
with
Yeah.
tax purposes. So now in the church, it's pastors, reverends, deacons, and other church members in there. Now they all going rummaging through the stuff and everything. So my actual pastor seen the coat first. She looked at the coat, she put it on, she said, "Oh my God, this is beautiful. And you giving this away?" And I said, "Yeah." I said, "You can have it." I said, "If you want it, it's yours." So she put it to the side on a pew. She put it to the side and
Mm.
she said, "Well, I'm gonna look at some of this other stuff you got. You got some nice stuff up in here, Sister Johnson."
It's your own fur coat.
Yeah, and she put it to the side. She should have held on to it. Let me tell you. So another a reverend come over. She like, now she's a little heavier than the actual pastor. So she went and she seen the coat and she tried it and she even said, she said, "Reverend, I put that over there to the side." So
Mm.
she said, "Well, did you try it
I
on?
see.
Because you look like you can't fit it." She said, "I could fit it. Trust me, I could fit it." So she put it down, and then now they both looking through the stuff some more. And then the Reverend, she goes over and she takes the coat. And next, all you see was her walk like darting straight to the door. And she said, the pastor got up. She said, "No, she didn't just try to walk out this door. She went running for." She said,
Come
"I
on,
was
still in the
snatched."
church?
She said, "I would snatch that coat right off. Wait till I get." They was about to get it up in that church. And mind you, these two always bickering with each other in the church.
Oh,
And I'm like,
okay.
"Oh my
I was
God."
wondering, was it always something there?
It was
Okay.
it's always something with them too, though.
It
Always.
was already some church beef.
Always some church beef is with these particular two people, the pastor and the reverend. And she went and she was like, "I'm getting that coat back from her." They were, and everybody looking
Uh-oh.
scared.
What's about to happen here? Because you're trying to figure out, like, do we break this up or do we let this roll
No,
over?
you know me, I'm not breaking anything up. I'm not breaking anything up unless it got to do with my
So,
children.
absolutely. So what happened?
I want
Did they just have words or did it get physical?
it almost got physical because she did one of these. But but I guess in the church you gotta realize and remember where you at. Cause some people don't care. They will fight up in that
No,
church.
no. Hey,
But
hey, hey, sister, hey,
she
sister.
said some words. She said she was like, "Look, I will snatch that wig up off her. And she was good for letting people know I ain't always been saved.
Oh, yeah. I done had to cut a couple niggas before I was saved. Don't
She
make
said,
me.
I ain't always been saved. And that exactly was her word. She said, I ain't always been saved. And she was like, you can ask anybody up in here. I will snatch you up in a minute. I ain't the one to be played with. And then she started calling her by her name. And I like she had to say her whole name to her. And I'm like,
Ooh.
and my kids, my kids, like they want to egg this shit on.
You gonna let her talk to you like that, Sister Mary? I know you ain't, Sister Jane.
What? And Sade, like, I got my money on Pastor.
They taking bets on the side. That's what I'm talking about. What? You 3-1 on Sister. What?
Yeah, my kids, they was like, I got my money on Pastor. I said, y'all is not right. And I love them two women dearly, both. But they always was going at it. But yeah, that was the two most craziest encounters I had in selling my product and giving my products and stuff away, because people really believe that you just supposed to, like, either they're entitled to a discount,
mm-hmm.
or you just got to give them away. And that's one reason why I'm glad I'm really not doing the t-shirts right now. I'm getting a break from doing the shirts and stuff, because I even had a family member who asked me to do some shirts for them for their getaway vacation, and they was going to Orlando. And she asked me, she said, well, I'm going to Orlando. Can you do some shirts for me and my kids and my grandkids? And I said, sure. I said, well, now mind you, she's asking me it had to be in June. And the actual vacation is in December. They going in December or January at the end of the year.
Got you. Yeah.
And I said, well, okay, well, I'm thinking, she asked her in vacations. I'm thinking she asked me in June, so I'm thinking it's soon. So I said, well, I need shirt sizes and how many shirts and what color and what's your theme and all of that. And she's telling me all these things. And she said, well, I don't know all the sizes. I said, well, get back with me with the sizes and stuff. I said, because I need to know. She said, well, can you give me a price? I said, I can't really give you a price because I don't know what sizes you all have. And you sell t-shirts. You gotta give me your sizes.
Do you want a glitter logo? Do you want multiple color?
Glitter logos and all of that. And I have to go back and do the inventory, see what I got and see what I have to order and see how much all of that gonna cost. And then I'm gonna calculate my fee up in there, because my fee, I'm getting paid for.
Absolutely, they free. Yeah, I gotta charge you. I gotta do something.
So she said, all right, well, can I get why you no, first she wanted to say, well, why you can't just give me a price, a ballpark? I said, because I said, I'm explaining all of this to her. And she said, well, I still don't understand why you just can't give me a ballpark of what this might cost me. I said, because first of all, I don't want to quote you something and then it costs way more than what I'm quoting you. And then you're going to really have a problem over you mean like what? That's not what I said.
You're going to want me to stick to that price.
You're going to want me to stick to that price. Exactly. And I'm not doing that. And she still just was, she like, well, and then in my mind, I honestly believe that she just wanted me to do it for free. And because even when she came back and she told me how many shirts and how many people was going, but she didn't tell me like the sizes and stuff like that. And I said to her, so, all right, listen, the shirts, I'm telling her how much the shirts is going to run her if she just want plain shirts. So I'm giving her ballparks of the plain shirts, not even the logo of what she want, and I'm giving her my fee.
Right.
Okay, well, I'm gonna have to let you know when that time comes.
We know what that means. I'm gonna get back with you. I'm gonna let you know.
I'm
Come
gonna
on.
get back with you when that time comes. And I said, well, fine. I said, well, and mind you, I told you she never even told me in the beginning what when it was. I'm thinking it was then because it was in June when she said she wanted these shirts for her vacation. But it's in December. I think it was, she said December or January. When I asked, I said, well, when is it? And she said, well, it's in December or January, so I got time. So I'm like, well, why didn't you say that from the beginning? You're making a big fuss about this, and you got time to save
So
up. And I'm saying, so I said to my husband, I said, you know what? I said, I think she think that I'm going to do this for free. I said, just because we're close and she know me like that. I said, but this is my time. I get paid for this. This is my income.
I got people to
and,
feed.
yeah, and you know what was crazy too, because people really, they see you shining, they see you doing this and doing that, going here and there, and they like, oh, she must got it, so she got it to spare, or she can do this on the eye. Her pockets ain't lacking, stuff like that. And even if my pockets is or isn't lacking, it's
Why you count?
still, yeah, like
Don't make an
I'm
ass out of yourself by assuming.
assuming. And I just don't understand. I'm like, now if it was if the shoe was on the other foot, you would want to be paid.
Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely.
And
Because
that's
this is
why,
where I got the inspiration to do the podcast. Is from seeing that. You know what I mean? Like the whole thing was, you know, the old saying, the customer is always right.
yeah,
People think that that means as a customer, I can do whatever the fuck I want and you have to accept it. I can expect whatever I want. I can say whatever I want. I can do whatever I want. And that's not the case. So that's why I got the inspiration, the idea to do the show, because I started noticing with some of my customers how I would have people come to me and be like, you know, oh, you sell Eagles jersey? Yeah, I want one. Okay. And then it would ask me for something I don't have. I want a jersey like this, but put it like the I don't do this. What I have. No, I want mine. Like this. And I would have people. I'm telling them I don't sell that, and they would tell me you're going to go get it for me because I said so. But what the hell do you think you're talking to? People, it's like I'm always right because I'm the customer. And at the time when you're dealing with customers, you have to check people. Like, but when you step back and
yeah,
think about it and tell the story like we are now, you're like, this shit was crazy. It was funny. And that's why I got the inspiration to do the story. You know what I mean? To
yeah.
do the podcast. Like, yo, these customers are really crazy.
There's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of them crazy. This actual friend, like I do the Crocs, the crocheting Crocs and stuff like that, and the blinging out the Crocs. And someone asked me, I was doing it for a couple of people, and one of my friends that I went to high school, grew up with. I grew up with her. Asked me to do her make a boot because I made boots out of one of my crocheting. I crocheted a pair of boots rather, and she seen the
Okay.
boots that I crocheted, and she said, "Well, I wear a size such and such. Do it how you want to do it or whatever." So I said, "Yo, T," I said, "That's money right there." I said, "That's a down payment. You need to call me, let me know when you're gonna send that down payment or whatever. Then
Right.
I can get started on this." And down payments are not refundable.
It's business, baby.
It was
This is
nothing
business.
transpired, nothing. It was all talk, all talk, all talk. When it come down to this, a lot of them is just all talk.
They go
They
deaf.
see your talent, but don't
Yeah.
want to pay you for
Not at all. They go deaf. All of a sudden, you know, they don't speak that well. I didn't know you were crocheting.
it.
That I
Yeah,
didn't know.
Yeah.
I didn't see any of that. Now, can you do like a big blanket?
Yeah, I have all of that on my not on my website, on my Instagram and my Facebook page. I have posted up the crocheting blankets, the booties, the
I, I had to
crops.
get a new page. I had to get a new Facebook page. Someone reported mine, so I got to find you. Get me a quote. Like I want an Eagles joint for a king size bed. I know it's gonna cost.
Okay. Okay.
But what I
I'm gonna
found
I'm gonna send
is
you
that
some of the stuff that I do have, and then I'm gonna
okay,
show you what
okay,
I'm working with, because I actually did one of my cousins. His wife had passed away, and I
mm,
did a blanket for him where her out of she had a scarf that she used to wear to bed all the time, like and I crocheted out of that. I made a blanket out of her wrap that she wore to bed.
oh, okay,
Yep, I cut it up a
okay.
little. I'm gonna show you it. I'm gonna send it to you, and you can post it if you want. But yeah, I made a blanket out of that for him.
I was because I've been online looking, and you cannot find sheet sets for sports teams in king size, twin, full, and a little bit of queen, but you will
Okay.
not find a king. So I know I'm like that means you got to get it customized somewhere. So I
Yep.
would rather now you tell me like if you could just hook up a blanket and then I'll just buy whatever color sheets and you know what I mean make it match. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying? I do it that.
Yep.
But
I
I was just
definitely
like,
I'll
oh,
show you a couple of the blankets that I made.
okay.
I normally mostly post a lot of my blankets and stuff on my art page and on
Okay.
Facebook. But
That's
I
good.
normally put a lot of things on Instagram. I do put my stuff on TikTok too, but I don't know if I have my blankets and stuff on TikTok. But I definitely have them on Instagram. But yeah, the blankets is nice. They real nice, and they
Listen,
heavy. They heavy and thick too.
that's what I'm. Here you go. That's what I'm talking
I
about.
don't do the thin ones.
Yeah, no need to. I need to. You know, I had company and we got to snuggle up under that thing. You know, like they were the thing. You know? That's a whole nother thing. Before we roll out, cuz do me a favor, give them your info, give them your Facebook, your Instagram, your Twitter, so they know where to reach out to you so they can look at your stuff. And as y'all,
My
if y'all following this, y'all gonna see me post a blanket when I get it. So I'll put you in touch with my cousin too. Drop the information for him.
uh my my Facebook is Johnson, Cheryl Johnson Bentoon. And my Instagram is beauty art. And you can also find me under Little Debbie, for Little Debbie on Instagram. I have two Instagram pages, one for business and one for pleasure. And
You see.
my TikTok is Beauty Angels. Is Beauty Angels. So yeah, you can find me either on all of those. I'm not on Twitter though. I'm not
And I
on
want you to
Twitter.
text all of those
And
to me.
my
And I'm gonna put it
email
up. I'm gonna put it up on the link.
and my
You know,
email is
we ready.
JohnsonClan78. So you can find me on there at Gmail.
At Gmail.
Yep, at Gmail.
Yeah. You send all that over to me in the text message. When we post this, I'm gonna put it up there so everybody can reach out to you. And as I
Okay.
said, as soon as I get my blanket on the pop and you guys will see it. Okay. It is what it is. Thank you very much, cuz I appreciate you doing this. Okay.
You
The
thank
reverend and the
you.
pastor fighting over the fur coat. I didn't see that coming. Okay. Not up in the church. Nobody saw that. Okay.
She went running. She
Yeah.
went running out that church with that coat on.
Because he can get serious up in here, sister. Okay? That's crazy. Okay? Didn't see it coming. All right. Thank you very much. We appreciate having you. We will definitely have you back again. Check our new episode every Monday, y'all. Like, follow, share, comment. Please come back, subscribe, make it do what it do. We out. Don't forget to tip your waiter. Check, please.
Bye.